Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Erin and I do mostly budgeting videos like the one you are about to see here. Actually, I'm going to have two videos up fairly soon. One's just going to be a general chit chat like vlog style, but in today's video I want to talk to you about an electronic cash envelope system. I thought, given the situation that we are finding ourselves in, which is the quarantine currently, that an electronic method of keeping track of your cash envelopes and your spending might be the way to go. So this isn't anything new, and in fact there are some banks that are offering such a thing, and what I like about that is the fact that they allow you to categorize within your own accounts and just kind of give things a new header. Like if you want to have a category that says groceries, or if you have a category that says pet care or whatever it may be, they allow you to actually make those subcategories within your accounts and move money back and forth between them. So as far as what banks are doing that, you may just want to check with your own bank if this is something that you're interested in, to see if it is something that they offer. And if it's not, a simple Google search just to see what banks are offering such a thing is probably the best way to go. However, if your bank doesn't offer it and it's still something that you want to pursue, there are a couple different things that you can do to get this going. So creating an electronic system for anything is, it can streamline things, especially if we're talking about previously spending cash. Now, what I mean by that, because I sounded a little bit confusing. If a lot of us are used to spending cash out of our cash envelopes, of course, now where are we going to spend this cash unless you're going to the grocery store? Now, I understand that some grocery stores aren't even taking cash right now. Some restaurants aren't taking cash. They are requiring credit card transactions, debit card transactions, things like that. And I think that's just to keep down on the interaction between people, handing over physical cash and getting back change. So I can totally understand, that type of system being in place just to protect people right now. But that also brings us to the question, do you need cash right now? Now, if you're watching this in the future when we are no longer in quarantine, this is still something that you can apply to your everyday budgeting system. So if you're not somebody who actually likes to spend cash, because some of us don't do that. Some of us don't write checks anymore. Some of us just do everything electronically or by credit or debit card. That's totally fine too. You can do any of these systems and tailor them, modify them to fit your own particular lifestyle and whatever uses you're comfortable with. So if your bank doesn't offer the cash envelope system and it's still something that you want to pursue, basically all you need to do is have some kind of calculator perhaps, and a notebook, a piece of paper, whatever it can be. You can use an Excel spreadsheet if it's something that you want to do on your computer. You can keep a Word document and just keep, running tallies going. Whatever works for you, you can modify this system to fit your needs. So basically, if you're just going to use, let's say, a notebook, what you would want to do if you want to start a cash envelope system electronically is find out what your balance is in your account that you're going to be utilizing. Now, you can do two things. You can keep your categories separate on paper, or you can even open up a second account with your bank. This is a savings account that you use strictly for this purpose, but whatever system that you want to use is totally fine. Either way will work perfectly. So let's say you want to keep the same bank account that you're already using. What you would want to do is just get your simple notebook, piece of paper, whatever it is, and start jotting down the categories that you typically use. So let's say you use groceries, you use pet care, you use gas, and when I say gas, I'm talking about fuel, miscellaneous spending money, maybe you use dining out. Jot down all those categories. Even if this is something that you are going to end up doing in Excel on a spreadsheet on your computer, still jot them down on paper so you can get yourself organized first. I think that's always the best way to start. So jot your categories down on paper. And then whatever day of the week it is that you typically stuff your cash envelopes, let's just say you do it on Friday because you get paid on Fridays. What you want to do is go ahead and put down the total amount on your subcategory. And let's say you want to do groceries for $100. So let's just use that as an example. So you're gonna write groceries and you're gonna write $100, okay? So really plain, very simple. So let's say that you place a grocery order with Walmart.com or your local grocery store, and it comes out to, let's say, $98, okay? So you just spent 98 of that. So this is simple arithmetic, you know, no big deal. So you're going to put 98, you're going to put where you spend it right here, just so you can keep track, because it's really important to also keep track of where your money is going, not just the category, but also where you're spending it, especially in a situation like this. If you have to go back and you have to check your bank account for certain transactions and whatever that may be, you also want to keep track of where your money is going. So now your electronic cash envelope started out with $100 and now you're down to $2. Basically, that's it. I mean, there's really no other trick to it. It's so easy and simple. It kind of makes me wonder why I haven't been doing it this way all along. It actually, don't get me wrong, I love stuffing cash envelopes. I like to see the cash in hand. I think it's just kind of like an aesthetic thing. It's the same thing with me when it comes to reading books. I like to read a book in my hand. I like to have something tangible and that I can turn pages and things like that. I'm just really old-fashioned like that. However, I also like reading a book on my Kindle. So it just kind of depends on all which you get used to, and of course, personal preference. So I do like stuffing my cash envelopes, but I could be saving myself trips to the bank and asking for certain allotments in cash, because of course, if you know you're stuffing your cash envelopes, and you want to put $35 into something, you want to ask for a 20, a 10, a 5. So you have to always go through, ask the teller for your cash in certain allotments, and then come home and do the whole process. This way, you can still put aside however much cash you want to spend in those categories, but you're just going to keep track of it on a piece of paper. So next to groceries, you know, you may want to put, if this was my household, you know, you may want to write down dogs. And every week we spend approximately $25 on our dog's food. So if it comes out to, let's say, $24.16, let's just use that as a number. And I spent that at Target. So I'm going to deduct $24.16, and I think that I would have 84 cents left. So then I'm going to have 84 cents in that electronic cash envelope. So it's just keeping track. It's just basic math. It's just a different way to keep track of your spending, a different way to keep track of your money. Now, there's nothing to stuff. So at the end of the week, if you have a certain amount of money left over, you can still keep track of that and keep a separate category for how much you didn't spend. I think that's always a good thing too, because if you're keeping $100 as your grocery money each week, but let's just say you're spending like $64. Well, then maybe, you know, you can keep track of that for a month or two. And then if you realize that you're only spending that much, then you can lower that cash envelope amount. So there's lots of different ways that you can do it. But again, I just think it's quick, it's simple, it's easy, and it's also saving us trips to the bank. It's saving us, you know, time and even a little bit of effort. And then you're free to spend online however you see fit. And right now, spending online is the way to go, just because of the situation we're in. But again, if you're seeing this in the future and you're just somebody who likes to do things electronically, I think this would be a perfect system for you. So I do recommend doing a spreadsheet or a designated notebook. As you can see, that was definitely some chicken scratch that I was doing. That would not fly with me if I was actually using this on my own. I would want it to be nice and neat and, you know, make nice columns and categories. If I continue to do this in the future, even when, you know, we go back to normal and cash envelopes stuffing is no big deal, I would actually probably end up doing this in a notebook rather than Excel spreadsheet. Again, I just revert back to paper whenever possible. It's just kind of how I am, and it's just my preference. But again, you can do this any way you like and just make it work for you. So I thought that I would just chat with you and just give you a little bit of an overview. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. The other thing I wanted to mention is this hair. This is quarantine hair and lack of makeup. But the other thing I want to mention to you is I would love to do a Q&A. So if you have any questions that you want to ask or suggestions, things like that you want to talk about, or anything that you want to ask me about my budget or just budgeting in general, please leave them down below. I would like to do a whole video where I can answer those questions and just chat with you about things and maybe just kind of mix it up a little bit. I know that I do my regular budgeting videos and you guys are seeing a lot of my work table, and that's totally fine, and I love doing that, but I thought that right now, while we have more time, it may be a good time to introduce some other formats and do some different videos. So I'm in my craft room right now. The only other thing I want to say is it probably looks a little bit disjointed back here and a little bit crazy, and it kind of is, and that's fine, but it works for me. So I probably am going to do a little bit of a craft room spin and give you a little tour of things, not because I have anything that I need to show off or highlight, but just because I think that you guys see my happy planner all the time, and that's pretty much all you see in these videos. So I thought I would give you a little bit of the environment and the surroundings that I'm in when I'm doing them. So anyways, leave your comments down below. I will definitely get back to you, and let me know if you're using the cash envelope system still, or if you have already reverted to something like the electronic cash envelope system. If you want more information on cash envelopes in general, of course, please see Dave Ramsey's videos. He has a podcast, he has videos. There's all kinds of information put out there by him. He did create the cash envelope system, and I think it's amazing. I think Dave Ramsey is a genius, and yeah, so I think it's also great that we can modify these things to work for ourselves. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Take care.